All right, so welcome to this on the Ernest Speaking Podcast. I'm your host, Ernest E.J. Christian of NGSesports.com, where we never stop. Of course, it's Tuesday. On the line with me, of course, is the man that's doing the game himself, Kyle Nash. Kyle, what's going on?
Hey, I'm just glad to be here, and I'll tell you what, it's good to be in a place along with Big TJ, when we hosted the Earnestly Speaking Podcast.
That was fun.
But it's good to be back in a place again where we have the brain power to understand it's Cam Newton that's the MVP right now. Accept it as fact. If you're not, you're doing it wrong. Give it to Superman, EJ. Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
Yeah, exactly. No, well, you already know how I feel about that. Cam, just keep dabbing on them, baby. That's all I gotta say about that. First off, not sports related, but important to me. Today marks 24 years since Freddie Mercury passed away. I'm a big Queen fan, huge. So I have all the records. So big deal for me personally. I know it's a little not off the topic today.
Hey, real quick, Freddie Mercury thing I saw on Facebook. It's a meme. I know it's probably simple and stupid, but the still did his job memes. Didn't like fat bottom girls. Still did his job. That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And I've said all along, he's to me the greatest vocalist of any generation ever. Period.
I can't think of a better one.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, you're here for football, so we're not going to play any more football stuff. Yeah, we are down to two teams who are unbeaten now. Patriots, of course, 10-0 last night, beat Buffalo. I guess not really surprised, except the game was a lot closer than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be competitive for the most part, but I didn't think it'd be that competitive. I thought Buffalo came out playing good football. Right. But, I'm done bored talking about the Patriots, to be honest with you, man. Let's talk about the Panthers first. Let's talk about Cam Swag, baby. Cam Newton and 10-0 Panthers that we thought would miss playoffs this year.
Boom.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I think this streak ends this Thursday. I'm going to say it right now. I think it ends this Thursday. I think Dallas is going to beat them on Thanksgiving because they take a short week and whatnot. But I got to tell you, man, see what you want, man. Nobody in the right man saw this coming. And what's going on? Okay, I guess from the analytic point of view, Kyle, what is it that makes the Panthers as good as they are now and makes them 10-0? What is it that you're seeing that makes them that good?
Well, I mean, it's old style football, right? So this is the kind of thing that they're 2000 Raiders-esque, 2003 Bucks-esque. The defense is not that good, but they're pretty good. And the main difference between this Panthers team and those two teams that were both Super Bowl winners with prolific defenses is Cam Swag. Simply put, they had a decent running game in the form of the Ravens when they won that Super Bowl. Was that Jamal Lewis, I believe?
That's correct. Yeah. Remind me of that. I'm a Giants fan. We lost the Super Bowl. Thank you very much.
Y'all were lucky to get there with Kerry Collins, a quarterback. Let's just have a talk about that real quick.
Yeah. The fact we're a one seed number one, man, was shocking enough. Then we blow out Minnesota in the conference championship after being like 4-point underdogs in that game.
Yeah. But which there's still therapy bills from various Minnesota therapists.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Man. But
in fact, not to cut you off, it's funny you just said that because on the last podcast I did this past Thursday, my buddy James came on the show. He's a diehard Vikings fan,
right?
And we dropped that game again because we were talking about the Viking schedule, who they play going forward and whatnot, who could be a tough team. And we brought up the Giants, and he said, history of the Giants not too good for us, and he himself brought the title game.
Well,
I'm just saying.
It's the one way that a Viking fan can sympathize with Browns fans. But moving on.
Yes. Yes. But it's amazing to see the Panthers do what they do, and I missed the controversy last week with the, he's dead singing in the letter from a 9-year-old or from a parent, whatever you want to call it. I mean, say what you want, man. You can't. It's hard to knock this. Now that being said, I don't think this is the best team in the NFC. I still think when the rubber meets the road, playoff time, I still think Arizona is the better team in the conference, in my opinion. Still,
on paper, I could see that certainly. I mean, they have a lot more weapons in the passing game. Just alone, if you stack these receiver cores against one another on paper, I mean, dude, you're going to turn away Larry Fitzgerald, John Brown, J.J. Nelson is a rookie, did his thing to do some damage against that Bengals defense last week.
Right.
and I believe they've been missing Michael Floyd, or he hasn't been producing as much.
Right.
Jermaine Gresham, former Bengal himself, doing a little bit of damage. They're even deep at running back. When is the last time the Arizona Cardinals have been deep at running back?
Larry Centers.
5K? I mean, come on, y'all. Let's be real. This decade? I don't think so.
No, I don't know. And, and we'll talk about that going forward, I'm sure, in terms of what they can do going forward. Yeah, the picture anyway, in terms of the wild cards and the NFC picture. But with Carolina, this is just amazing, though, because, I mean, look, I don't think they're as good as that record. I don't. But the sample's growing. It's growing. And to me, it's this more reason why I think Cam Newton's MVP. And I think you agree with this also. I
do. And to even add to that, the student of the game panel before the start of every season, the last Monday before the season, me, Chris Rankin, Stephen Weasel Hurley.
Weasel
from he heard you. No, but we do our selections. They both were braver than me in picking the Panthers to win that division. When Kelvin Benjamin went down, they both retracted that pick, and now they both have gone on air saying we got to pick Cam Swag because we retracted our picks. He's got to be the MVP.
Well, look, here's the thing, and this is what I'm, people will say, well, maybe you can't go against Brady, and look, it's I get it because Brady's numbers are out of this world great, but my argument's been this: is that the reason why I say Cam is because Cam is carrying more responsibility for his ball club, despite numbers and whatever it may be, than say, Tom Brady. I mean, look, Tom Brady still has Gronk. He still has Bill Belichick. He still has a relatively healthy team, whereas Cam, I know you can say Greg Olson's number one weapon. No, Kelvin Benjamin was the number one weapon last year, okay? And would have been this year if he was healthy, period. Right. So that alone tilted everything. And to me, even with Kelvin Benjamin, we thought they'd be, maybe a 7-9, 8 team at best. We were impressed with the roster, to be honest with you.
We had it to where at least we would not have a losing team from the Kardashian sisters of the NFL, which, by the way, Giants fan, you better be careful because the East is about to take that title over, but I digress. But I don't want to hear about Tom Brady's an MVP candidate. I'm more impressed with Carson Palmer right now, who had about as many touchdowns going into this week as Tom Brady did. But nobody wants to talk about that. Oh, it's Carson Palmer. Oh, he struggled a little bit. Other places. Oh, he was one game short of making the playoffs and lost to Tebow Mania. Why are we forgetting about Carson Palmer? Why?
Because it's Carson Palmer. That's why.
Probably. I mean, it's haters like you, Angie Steele.
I'm not hating on. I'm not hating on Carson. I'm just saying that's the reason why. I think he's a top 3 or 4 candidate for the MVP. I mean, Gronk, Brady, Palmer, and Cam, and then AP.
And lastly, the other edge that Palmer has, even over Cam Newton. Check the schedules, kids. Check the schedules. Bottom line.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of schedules, because Pats fans get a little pissy at me about this. Oh, well, who they played. Well, through 12 weeks, you can argue right now that the Panthers have a harder schedule than the Patriots because, through 12 weeks or 11 weeks, whatever, as it's played out, especially too, because we would have said the Jets weeks ago that was a tougher team that both teams played. Now the Jets are falling apart. So the hardest team the Pats have played this year is my team, the Giants, 5-5. Because who else they played to be over 500? Nobody. Check the schedule. Nobody. Buffalo last night was over 500. Not anymore. So Carolina could say, well, we went into Seattle, which, okay, fine. Seattle's not the same Seattle, but it's still in that environment. And it beat Green Bay.
Name a defense that the Pats have played that is as good as the Seahawks. Don't worry, I'll wait.
The Giants. Not the Giants at all.
I've given you the Jets at full strength, but look, people keep talking about the Jets as a tougher opponent at one point. Hey, this is still a team that needed a starting quarterback to get punched in the face for an upgrade. And now you're trying to use that as a point? Oh, and our receiver core is bad. Dude, you have 2 other guys that aren't Julian Edelman that were number 1s at one point with their former team. Granted, LaFell got there thanks to injury with Steve Smith, but the point is, now they're trash? No, it doesn't work that way. There is depth all over the place in that receiver core in New England. You play a schedule that, I think the Puerto Rican bobsled team could compete with in football. Okay?
Wait. They got a bobsled team like Jamaica? Really? When's their movie? Just kidding. So
we played a lot.
I think I already hinted my question, my answer to this question, but I'll go ahead and toss it to you. Who loses first, Carolina or New England? Because I look at the schedules. I mean, and I already said Carolina's losing this Thursday to Dallas. I'll tell you what, if they beat Dallas, on a short week on Thanksgiving, that says a lot. I know they're 3-7, but it's still Dallas with Romo back and Des healthy.
Well, I don't share in your optimism there, unfortunately.
I hope I'm wrong. For the record, I hope I'm wrong because it helps my team. Just
right. Well, of course. But and don't make the same mistake that Dolphin fans did with Dan Campbell.
We're done. I'm done with that Dolphin. Yeah, I'm done with Dan Campbell. I think that's over.
Because Romo coming back and beating the Dolphins is no different than Dan Campbell and the Dolphins coming back and beating, at the time, the Texans, who hadn't figured out that TJ Yates could still play. Who knew? And the Titans, who are not impressive, even though they beat the Saints.
Right.
Almost beat the Falcons, but no one wants to talk about that.
Frauds.
Fraud cons.
No. So the thing is, though, the Dallas thing. The reason why I still mention Dallas being tough at 3-7 is because look at it. We've said all year long that before while Romo was hurt, outside the New England game, they were in all their games, literally one possession to win the game, and they lost those games. You put Romo in the game, it most likely they win at least 80% of those games, at least. Yeah. And you saw immediately on Sunday with Romo back in the lineup. I mean, he was rusty, yes, but he made plays necessary to win the game on the road. So that's why I still think Dallas is still a team. I'm not going to say that they're going to win the East because I think the Giants have 2 games up with and a split on the season series. And as long as they do their job, they can win the division. But it's hard not to dismiss Dallas just yet. Now we're rolling back in the lineup, and they've been good defensively this year too. So,
I mean, that division breaks down very simply. It's the unpredictable versus the inconsistent versus the unfortunate versus the irrelevant. And I couldn't necessarily tell you at any point during the season which one of the 4 teams met with that title because they all seem to flip-flop around them. None of them. I don't want this division. Do you want it? Oh, well, Tony's hurt. Do you want it? Oh, well, we have Kirk Cousins. We're not as good as we thought. Do you want it?
You like that?
Kelly.
You like that?
That's enough.
That's actually a good segue. Well, so you think the Pats lose first? Because it's the Pats schedule ahead. It gets relatively easy at this point because we had this conversation at least twice with these podcasts all year long.
Right.
Unbeaten. Now, I'll be honest, the last 2 weeks they've kind of looked a little bit, I won't say shaky, but the competition's definitely gotten a little more balanced now. But the teams they play going forward, I mean, this week's Denver. Then they got games to Jets later in the year, games to Dolphins later in the year. They got Philly in there who's shit in the bed now. Yeah. There's a game there against the Texans, who actually all of a sudden is playing. All of a sudden they're actually
that game in person, actually. And I would
your boy right there, JJ Watt, right on the screen right there. By the way, we're on YouTube for it, guys. But JJ Watt there on the screen.
So hot for what?
Most annoying player in football.
Check out the fathead. Yeah.
Most annoying player in football. I said it. Best player in football, but most annoying. Yes.
Oh, annoying? You could say annoying, and that's usually.
You agree with me? He's annoying.
No, I didn't say that. People who have faced his wrath find him annoying because I know he got to your boy Eli.
Oh God.
No, I don't even know if they played each other. Just you walked right into that setup. I had to say it.
No. I think they played next year actually. So prediction: who's his first? Carolina or New England?
It's going to be Carolina. Just on the strength of the schedule, you have to say that because as much as the Falcons are fraud cons, they represent a winning team on the Panthers' schedule. Who on the Patriots squad at this point, other than the Broncos next week, or this coming week, I should say, that can claim that? I'll wait.
That's very true.
That's
true. All the Falcons. It's funny we didn't make a top for them. We didn't make a top for them of the show, but yet we're gonna just throw in some little seasoning of Falcons and then a Falcon seasoning here. Frauds. All year long been saying it, and now it's going to pass. But I was talking to Dane Thompson yesterday on Facebook. I think you might have actually commented on the thread on social media.
Yes.
Talking about the Falcons, and So and I basically told him, what are we doing now? They're 6-4, and they're slumping. And what? What are we doing now?
Rise up and tell me why your team is so bad, losing 4 out of the past 5, including to the 49ers, who, as a Niner fan, I'm proud to say they suck.
They do. Yeah. Although I gotta be honest with you, man, and you think I'm crazy for saying this. Blaine Gabbert kind of frisky last couple weeks.
Stop it.
I'm not gonna lie. No, I'm not saying No, he's not good. I'm not saying he's good. I'm just saying he's been kind of frisky last couple weeks.
Look,
admit.
You comparing him to my wife's cat don't make you any more credible. All right, stop it.
What is that your cat's name?
Well, no, you just said frisky. That's a behavior. Is there like a cat food named Friskies or something like that? I don't know.
So. I don't think I buy that one. I think I buy the other one.
They're my wife's cat. I don't even claim them, dude.
You have a cat?
No, my wife does. Oh. What I did there? 2 of them, actually.
Wow! Kids, close your ears.
Well, no, God, no. I mean, literal. No, they're animal cats. I mean, but that's not the point.
That's not the point, dude. You lost me there, bro.
No,
Kyle F. Nash. You are terrible, dude.
I wasn't trying to be this time. You were the one holding up the dirty pictures. No. It's not. No.
No, you have dirty pictures there. Well, that's me. I got Marilyn Monroe in the background, but okay. Yeah. We just touched on them quick on the Cowboys, so let's talk a little more. Big win against Miami. They're still in the mix. Only 2 games behind New York. I gotta be honest with you. I think they're still scary because they're healthy now.
They are.
Their defense is actually pretty good. They're actually not that bad, and they have been that bad all year long. Can they make a run in the East? I say yes, they could. Well, I don't know if they will, but they could.
Right. So they still, technically speaking, have the worst record in the conference. There's that.
They do.
At 3-7, the Lions are tied with them, and the Lions
correct
in the tiebreak at current due to conference record, I believe.
Wow.
So
good one. Good research there, buddy. I didn't know that.
Attack talent, student, not just a clever nickname. Moving on.
Wink.
But no, the difference though is simply the division. I believe my dude Stephen Weasel Hurley put it best when he said, I made that same comment about the Lions are better than them. And he's like, yeah, but they don't play in the NFC North. And in all of his negative Nancy, he's absolutely correct. And they can still lose to the Panthers and be a threat to win that division because the Giants, unpredictable or inconsistent, whichever you want to call it, that's what they are. And the same goes for the Redskins. And I'll tell you, having to write up the matchup mania to feature that game because of the playoff implication in that game.
Tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's released on NGSports.com, right?
Right. Yeah, we be writing that tonight. I'll post it tonight. But hey, check it out tomorrow. That's the feature, man. If you get, look, if you're an insomniac and you happen upon it on Tuesday, bonus points for you. All right.
Let me ask you a question. Are we getting some bonus coverage for Thanksgiving, or just doing the simple stuff?
Hey, man, what bonus is there? I mean, look, you want me to write about one of these turkeys that are happening during Thanksgiving? I'm sorry. Look, y'all, this is a public service announcement to tell you which games are most worth your time. And I'm sorry, those 3 games are not. The Carolina and Cowboy thing's cute, but no. I mean, come on.
You're not getting the Carolina and Dallas game on the mum?
No.
The mum?
I earned that. I thought about making them an honorable mention, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry. I think Cam and company are going to make the Cowboys realize that this is a cute little dream you put together, but no. And if I'm wrong next week, hey, I'll be the first person to, start doing my leave Tony alone joke.
Wait, did you just pick Dallas to lose?
I did.
Okay. Good. That's what I want. The thing is too, also, it's the Giants. I feel like, okay, fine. They have to do their job, but I feel like they're getting good at the right time. They're getting healthy.
Wait a minute. Are you implying that the Giants are capable of peaking at the right time and going on to win a Super Bowl randomly? How dare you, sir? That is asinine. I'm
not going homer here, but you know me. I don't do homer things the whole time. But I feel like there's been some good things happen. Like that Pats game, that was probably the best game of the year.
Yeah.
Ball, and yet
the foot.
Huh?
Y'all shot yourselves in the foot. What do you want me to tell you?
For the 8th time this year.
Could have won that game.
Yeah, man.
I'm even go here. Losing to the Pats was worse than what y'all did in week 1 to the Cowboys. At least the Cowboys gave you some gifts. Giants killed themselves in that game. Absolutely.
That's a good point. I can't. And not only that, even when they fucked up with the ball, they still had a chance to win the game. Landon Collins drops the interception. We're not having this conversation.
This is a real boring show when you make my points for me, EJ. I'm just saying.
Hey, I was never disagreeing with you, man. That said, I don't know why, but I kind of feel good about this team now a little bit. I feel like, okay, the mistakes happen. Yes, I agree, but they're actually, there's a pass rush again now, GDP, and just there's a quarterback now. Brady got a couple of hits on him. Obviously, Winston the week before that. I feel like the Giants have stunned around a little bit into their own just a little bit to the point where I feel like, okay, just give me 9-7, and I'm good.
Well, 9-7, we'll win this division.
That's what I'm saying.
All that, what it is too. My first instinct when I hear you start to talk is Danny Elfman. Why Danny Elfman? Famous for many awards. Also did the theme to The Simpsons, whose most favorite character is Homer. Okay.
True.
See what I did there? But
yes, it did. Look, are you a fan of that show? I never liked that show, by the way.
Hashtag you problem. Moving on.
You a Simpsons fan?
I do enjoy The Simpsons. It's not like it used to be back in the day. I mean, but the damn show's 2 decades old. I mean, you want to talk about how Brady is good based on longevity. There's some damn longevity.
Try 2.5 decades.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, 1990.
Aren't they? Yeah, you're right. Now that I can officially say 2.5 decades now. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane how that show's still relevant to this day. I mean, I remember watching. I know we'll go off topic here, but I remember when that show first came out in '90. I got into it a little bit. First year, then I was like, yeah, okay, I'm done. I just dropped it. I didn't really care, and never looked back.
Hey, not for nothing, but the ride that I think they still have it. I don't know that they do. Maybe they don't. But the ride that they had at a Universal for it was the Jam too.
It was pretty good. I mean, it ain't Back to the Future good, but that was which I believe that's what they replaced it.
It was, and I'm gonna go apples and oranges defense on you there because they were just 2 complete look and feels to what they were trying to do there. But I think they were both successful.
They were actually the same thing, but different feels. Kind of the same idea.
That's what I mean. Right. Yeah.
I prefer the Back to the Future. This is more of a 80s pop culture nut. So
no one on that, and if they do, they're doing it wrong.
Back to the Cowboys. So if I ask you, Kyle Nash, give me a percentage chance that the Cowboys actually win the East this year. Percentage chance. You give me what?
Considering the fact that they're starting 3-7 and are the worst team in the conference, I'm giving them a very optimistic 30% chance.
That's not bad, actually, considering. And of course, it's the East, and the only team you really have to worry about is the Giants because the Eagles are falling apart.
What about the Redskins? Wah, wah. Actually, I say that, but the Redskins being on the schedule twice and the Redskins being the team that knocked out Tony Romo for a bit in 2014, there's some stuff brewing there.
Wonky. It's very wonky.
Yeah, I agree. And look, I don't know what to make of the Redskins, and they don't know what to make of themselves. They kind of get to the 4th quarter and realize, hey, we have a shot to win this game. Why don't we throw a few good passes? All right.
Let me ask you this. What do you make of the AFC South now all of a sudden? Because all of a sudden now it's, okay, they're still terrible, but.
Yeah. Yes.
All of a sudden,
look,
friskiness going on there.
The past three preseasons, we've ordained the Colts as having won that division by default. And then luck was no longer on their side. See what I did there?
Yeah, I'll see that.
So
like it.
Who knew that TJ Yates could still play like that? If he's able to still play like that, I don't know why they ever got rid of him. I mean, I guess he wanted a shot to try and start in Atlanta, which ended up ending up being Matt Ryan's backup. Not the best formula to acquire that, but whatever.
Right.
I bottom line, they just proved to one another that he should never left Texas. Apparently,
True.
Which,
that said, okay, go ahead.
One point I want to make: Andre Johnson, the best quarterback he's faced or played with, I should say, other than Andrew Luck is Matt Hasselbeck. That's how bad the Texans quarterback position has been for the past decade. And DeAndre Hopkins is still a beast, beating Revis Island up and down the field last week.
He pretty much leased Revis Island last week to himself.
Well, apparently he's in the shipbuilding because he managed to navigate his way off in Revis Island. That's what I said.
I'm not ready to say Revis is done, but we're seeing the cracks. And once again, this is where the Patriots are good. And I was one of the guys back in free agency that said, let him walk because of the money. If you get him on a good deal, fine. But that kind of money that New York paid him, let him walk.
Right. Well, I mean, and they have so much history doing that too with DBs. Lawyer Malloy, Ty Law. How do you make Ty Law walk? Back at that time, that blew my damn mind. But I mean, now in the case of Ty Law, it bit them quite a bit more. But at the end of the day, let's just put it this way. When it comes to knowing when DB should walk, got to give the Patriots credit. They do it right.
So what's right now? AFC South, Colts 5-5, Texans 5-5. The Jaguars are 4-6. And by the way, the Jaguars, they it's funny because like their record might be worse than the other two teams as mentioned, but I feel like of the three teams as mentioned there, they have the most upside. Also, remember Jason Myers missed 2 opportunities to close the door on the Colts the first time they played, so they could have just as easily been 5-5 and at the top of this division. Right. And I feel like the Jaguars are on the way up. As we said, we always thought, okay, this team is building. They gutted the entire roster a couple years ago. They're bringing in. They have their quarterback now. They have their receiver. They have a couple of pieces there to build on. And I think now, especially in the AFC, that's really, let's face it, the AFC is actually not that good outside of a couple teams. They're pretty I mean, it's not that far-fetched they can run. And by the way, the wildcard picture, which we'll get to in a second, they're in it. Yeah. They're in it. They're a game out. Not going to get in, but I mean, they're in it. This is I compare it to the Chargers back in 2012 that I picked to leap over everybody. That's the spot they're at. And I'm not going to plan to pick the Jags to do the same thing. Right. It's that level. I mean, it's that look and feel, I like bringing up that prediction again because you thought I was so wrong when I made it too, by the way. Was that 2012, 2013? Might have been 13. Where they won the final game of the year, or a couple games of the year, and they won a playoff game on top of that too. Yeah. That was 2013. Yes, 2013. That was they beat Cincy in the playoffs, right? That's right. Correct. Yeah, I remember that. We did call a podcast late in the year, and you were, oh, I think it'll get in. I think don't walk them off this yet. I was waving the Pittsburgh flag. I think Ben to figure it out, and it came out on the final day. Oh, look, Kyle picked the Chargers. You may not have done that, but yeah. That's what it felt like. That might have been G actually doing that. Maybe. Yo, right at the kiddie table, big TJ style, and all of a sudden, I'm at the head of the table carving a damn turkey for you. Boom, happy Thanksgiving. What? Yep. Let them know. Mm-hmm. Pass me that drum leg, fool. If the playoffs start today in the AFC, obviously the Pats are going to be the number 1 seed. Right. Okay. Bengals and Broncos. I mean, they play later in the year, so we'll know more of that. That'll clear itself up, of course. And then I guess the Colts would by default be the 4th seed. And then the wild cards would be Pittsburgh, of course, which I expect it to stick. I think that's going to stick. I think they're going to figure it out and is win how many games they need to win. But then you have we just mentioned we got a wild card like snafu here of 1, 2, 3, 4, and I guess if you want to get frisky with the Raiders and the Jaguars, 6 teams. I guess the Dolphins make it 7, but I'm not gonna. I mean, I think they're done. No, don't need of 6, 7 teams who have a chance to get the number 6 spot in the AFC right now. If it starts today, guess what? The team we all wrote off 4 weeks ago, your Kansas City Chiefs are your 6th seed in the AFC. Yes, Andy Reid, boy. Andy Reid. Check down the Kool-Aid man, all of it. And I think you'll say just as much as me, the key to it is that the importance of Jamal Charles severely overrated, apparently. Charkandrick West was doing a great job. Then he gets hurt this past week, and Spencer Ware. You don't know who Spencer Ware is. I didn't even who the bleep is Spencer Ware. Maybe his family knew him. Okay? Maybe his family knew. That's terrible. But goes 90 yards and a touchdown, 11 carries. With those numbers,
in a check down style offense with an offensive line that, look, not for nothing, playing great, and a defense that's finally playing to Pro Bowl form, not to mention Dontari Poe becoming the biggest man to ever score a touchdown in NFL history. Dude.
They've won four straight against teams like Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Denver.
Yep.
They beat San Diego's terrible now. They've fallen apart. And then Pittsburgh. And Detroit. But then they beat those teams we're supposed to. And then the two losses before that, which we all said they were dead, lost by a combined 7 points. The Bears at home on a fluke.
Right.
And the Vikings when they could actually won that game as well too.
I could argue also that the defeat of the Steelers and Broncos are both flukes because, you know, Peyton Manning essentially fell apart on the field right in front of our eyes.
But 29-13 though. I mean, KC jumped on the Broncos pretty early in that game.
Yeah, he was 4 for 20 and threw 5 picks, dude. I mean, you know, you're trying to tell me Osweiler would at least done a little bit better than that?
We'll get to that in a second. That's what I think, because I think that's what we need to get into in a little bit.
True. And then Landry Jones was starting for the Steelers, and as good as he may or may not have looked in his time, which I don't think he looked bad, he's still a third-string quarterback. You're trying to tell me he would have done that to Roethlisberger? No, sir. No.
Could we agree, barring any health issues going forward, Pittsburgh 5 seed, right? Pittsburgh 5 seed?
Oh, yeah. I had that in the predictions, too. I had that in the predictions too. So yeah, definitely 5 seed for the Steelers. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So that being said, 1 seed up, 1 slot left, 7 teams, as mentioned. Kansas City, Houston, Buffalo, the Jets. Then you have the Raiders a game behind, as well as the Jaguars and Dolphins. Pick one team you feel the most confident right now, going to Week 12, that you feel that can get that last wildcard spot.
Are the Bills on that list? I don't think so.
They are. I see. Yeah, the Buffalo was. Yeah.
Okay. You said Buffalo. You didn't say the Bills. That's what threw me off. I want to be all controversial and tick you off and say the Texans. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that, but let me tell you why. Because
yeah, go ahead.
The easiest schedule remaining. The easiest, if the road between me and the playoffs has the Titans, Jags, and Colts on it, I'm not feeling all that bad about life. I'm not trying to look, we talked about the Jags are improving. They're a decent team. We talked about, what has been done for these teams to make their second half push. And I just don't think it compares necessarily to the Texans. That being said, man, it's hard to vote against the Chiefs too, but I'm going to say the Texans because, first and foremost, the schedule.
Speaking of the schedule, Texans play the following. Saints at Bills. What do you think those 2 games are about?
Look.
I see a split there.
What do you want me to tell you? And the Saints are once again the prom queen team. They know how to score and they can't stop anyone from doing it. Except that first part, is kind of changing too. So
yes, that's so true. Then the Patriots at home, the Pats come up town.
And that's the game. That's the game I'm going to be at, and they're going to lose that game.
You want that game?
I am. There's a buddy of mine go around the country, go to different stadiums and stuff. We've made it to still. By the way, if you ever get a chance to see a game at Lucas Oil Stadium, you do it. You don't. Ray, if someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes. Okay, that's Lucas Oil Stadium.
Wait, you going to the Indy game or the Patriots game?
Patriots. Yes.
Okay.
AKA the former Reliant Stadium. Yes.
Right. Wait, they're named Lucas Oil now?
Lucas Oil is Indianapolis.
Right. But you're going to Houston, right?
That's right. That's the
okay. Oh, okay. You made another point. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. Let me stay on topic then. Sorry. Then they end the year on the road. All 3 games on the road.
Okay.
Colts, Titans, Jaguars. Andrew should be back, but Luck should be back by then.
Maybe. Look, it's with the whole lacerated kidney thing. I really don't know what to think about that. The Colts as a franchise are wise to just sit him for the rest of the season because, okay, they make the playoffs and win the division. To do what? Okay, they ain't getting past the first round. I think if the Bengals draw that game somehow in the first round, I think Andy Dalton will definitely get his first playoff win. That's basically what it amounts to. The Colts would be within their rights to protect their franchise guy and sit him for the rest of the year and pray he just doesn't become Derrick Rose. Oh, no, he went there.
Oh, no.
Basketball smack. What?
Yes. Let him know. I'm leaning Bills. And here's the reason why. Because the Texans can still win the division, get a home game, and get a home playoff game. That's the thing we're forgetting here. And here's the Bills' schedule going forward. And right away, they play some important games because they go to Kansas City this week. That's a huge game, obviously.
Epic.
That should be. I know that's a Match-A-Mania game for you, but that's definitely a humongous game. Houston. So basically, Buffalo's playoff lives will be decided in 2 weeks, probably.
Yeah.
You know, at Philly, which I can see a win there because I think Philly by then is going to be just done.
Dude, Marcel Darius, it's going to be a win. Okay.
Yeah. At Washington, frisky Redskins team. Although this past Sunday was terrible.
You and this damn frisky. I don't.
Frisky. Then Dallas at home, and then the Jets, which could be winner take the.
So you're kind of contradicting yourself with this, though. Then, so because if the Bills beat the Cowboys, that might throw your NFC East rise from the Cowboys that that they're saying there's a threat for them to do.
Well, right. Well, I'm looking based on just looking at the game. What I hope is that Giants get in, and then that's it. Hopefully, the Giants do their job and stay 2 games up in the division. Not have to worry about week 16 and 17.
Well, they're a pretty reliable franchise. It's very consistent and easy to predict. So I think you should.
Giants, yeah, they're consistent. Yeah, 9-7. 10. Yeah. I'm leaning Bills though, but I think the Texans could steal the South, and then Colts fans could continue booing Luck and then lose Luck in 2 years.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
As the Niner fan who had the opportunity to get Peyton Manning, except Jim Harbaugh talked too much stack, please keep booing him. Keep booing him until he'll end up going to the 49ers, and maybe we'll get Jim Harbaugh back too that way. I know it won't happen, but I can dream.
Let's look at the NFC real quick. Carolina, Arizona. I'm assuming. I think that's in the stick.
Yes.
It's the top your buys, even though Green Bay is a game behind. Yeah. But I think it's in the stick though. Then you got Green Bay, and then the Giants right now currently is the number 4 seed. Then the wild card gets interesting.
I think the Vikings are going to stick, for the record.
Here's the problem with that though, and I tend to agree with you because we both picked them to win the playoffs, and I want to be right there.
And at the 5 seed as well, by the way.
Here's the problem though. Here's the major problem. Their schedule. It is.
I mean, okay, so
it's already started. Green Bay this past week they lost. Right. Then now they better win this game. Minnesota, you lose this game, I'm done with you guys.
That is
at Atlanta.
That message is what you will see in the mum, essentially.
The mum, yes.
Game up
at Atlanta, Seattle, which you don't know what you're getting with them yet. Still, I mean. At Arizona.
Oh yeah, no, that's a loss. Let's not even dance with it.
Okay.
And I would say this much about the Seattle game as well.
It's a trap.
Yes, sound bites. Chicago. I'm gonna say it again. I know you hate it, Frisky. The Bears are. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. And I told you this a couple days ago. They're 4-6, but they don't look like a 4-6 team. To me, they're like a team that's just right there, a couple tweaks here and there.
Who just experienced some new music called Brock and Roll, all right? I don't want to hear about the Bears right now.
The Bears didn't have Forte nor Alshon Jeffrey on Sunday.
Langford looked good the previous week and then was shut down. I mean,
the Bears they've looked kind of frisky this year. I mean, they've been in these games and I guess they've been won once this year.
They did this last year. Like, we're gonna underperform, and we're gonna look.
Yeah, but we thought the Bears were gonna be like 4-12 this year. We had the Bears like for dead from the word go, and they've been very competitive this year. Okay. I think, and then when you add the divisional elements to it too, it's definitely not. I'll say as much. It's a win, but it's not a gimme.
Okay, I'll put it this way. Maybe they're not dead, so I'm gonna upgrade them on behalf of your statement to extras on The Walking Dead. How about that?
You watch that show?
Yes. What do you think?
I stopped after season 1. I stopped.
Now you have a reason to watch again, or at least G Stilio does.
G Steele's tasting TV shows and we don't mix really that much.
Well, then I guess he's not watching his Bears on The Walking Dead. What I mean,
Then the final 2 games are the Giants at home, which not a gimme.
No.
And the Packers on the road.
I mean, look, what I would like to see is that second game mean as much as last week's game did in Week 11.
You mean Seattle?
No, I mean
Atlanta.
I want Week 17, the rematch for Vikings Packers, to mean as much as it did last week. Like, we have that opportunity to where that game decides that division.
Yeah, if you're a Vikings fan, you want to hope that they guarantee a wildcard spot at least. Yeah, and have that game go for division. So at worst, you have a spot in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? That's the worst. That's the best spot you want to be in.
And with that schedule that they have, provided they can maintain, that'll keep them sharp and nasty. Dare I say, frisky for actual playoff performance to possibly win a game.
I see 2 wins here guaranteed. Probably Atlanta, because I'm a dick that way.
Prod cons
and Chicago. And then the Giants get kind of weird because we don't know how good the Giants will be at that point.
No.
So that's 9 wins there. I think 10 makes. I think 10 you feel comfortable. 9.
10
on
magic number. I agree.
10. Because you had too much stuff going on here with the wild card because of Seattle. Who look, they're not good anymore, but that roster is good enough to reel off a couple wins here and there, and all of a sudden they fall to 9 wins. Like, oh shit, what happened here?
Clinging
That's
to
the problem.
Life, Seahawks, aren't you? Clinging to life. Though I'll say this: your boy Russell Wilson is going to remain relevant there for one reason alone, and his name is Thomas Rawls. That kid is legit, dude.
Yeah,
that kid is legit. And don't give me it's the O-line. Look. Either Thomas Rawls is nasty or that O-line is doing enough to make him look nasty, and everybody in the league already knows that Russell Wilson's going to roll outside whether he needs to or not. It's a lack of discipline. He lack of discipline. Watch the film.
That pen in your hand right now is scaring me. You're going to stab me in the face. What's it say? Still the game?
Yeah. Yeah, boy.
Oh, nice. I need one of those, man. Ship me a gift for Christmas.
I was actually planning to bring one with me when I actually do make it down to South Florida. I'm not even.
What is that, in 5 years?
No, man. With the season got to be over, dude. We doing too much.
Jesus. You'll find the NFC picture is actually kind of weird because forget the division winners. The wild card's why I think is more interesting because
we always end up talking about it
because Atlanta. Okay, they'll be the 6th seed now if it starts today, but they're fading.
Yes,
Then you got, oh my God, here comes the Buccaneers, the game behind.
By the way, I picked them to beat the Eagles last week, not for nothing.
You're a smart guy. Seattle's behind.
I think I picked them to win this week too. I forget who they're playing right off the bat.
I haven't seen the schedule yet. just yet. I think tomorrow with Zach, I'll do that.
We picked on the student of the game, but I picked the Bucks. I remember that.
Okay.
See, I'm not
the Bucks play Indy at Indy.
Yeah. Indy. I picked them over Matt Hasselbeck. Damn right.
Ooh, Jameis Winston ruining lives again. Love it. Let's see. I think this is really gonna be a 3-team race for one spot. I don't see the Skins getting there. I don't see the Rams. I don't see. Yeah, I think it's a 3-team race from anything else.
Which, by the way, quick point on the Rams. So when a quarterback gets slammed to the turf and both hands go on his head and he has trouble getting up and needs an offensive lineman to help him step up, don't they have guys whose specific purpose is to watch film from the sideline specifically for those plays? How do they blow that?
Nah, they're focused on going to L.A.
What's that?
They're focused on going to L.A. That's why. They don't care about stuff on the field. That's why. That's all I got for you, brother.
But I mean, look, I'm in a lot of things. I'm pro NFL, and I think they get too much flack on stuff. But no, this is one where they got it wrong. That process, it can't happen like that. Right. Anyways,
I want to do a quick. Well, by the way, my pick for the 6th seed is going to be Seattle.
Of course it is.
True. I mean, who? Okay, let me ask you a question. Who are you trusting of the 3 teams mentioned? Atlanta, Seattle, or Tampa Bay? Who are you trusting the most? Should we look at schedules again?
Hell, ain't none of them trustworthy. You're right. I'm gonna go Seattle because Thomas Rawls. I'm sorry.
I'm going Russell Wilson, Sierra. That's what. Oh,
know
did I say that? Yeah, I said it.
Keep hitting on Sierra. That's great. But just because there's a touchdown there doesn't mean she's going to help you score. All right. Thank you.
I want to do before we let you go. I want to do a quick buy or sell.
All right.
And I just added one here. You know what? I'm gonna do that one first because he's mentioned the Rams. Buy or sell. The Rams should fire Jeff Fisher at the end of the season if they miss the playoffs again.
Sell, though I could see them doing it if they want to avoid controversy because they've already had people hinting that he's back to his dirty ways with defensive coordinator Greg Williams. Just saying. But
really?
You didn't hear that against the Vikings?
No, I didn't hear that. No.
Press conference.
Well, I just heard. I saw the thing with him, Ronnie Harrison, but I don't know what it was related to.
Yeah, it was in relation to Mike Zimmer's press conference after that game. Seriously, I'm not even talking smack on to say check it out.
You did see the little Twitter battle between Ronnie Harrison and Jeff Fisher, right?
No, I didn't. But, I mean, it's hard for me to support Ronnie Harrison when he gets paid to say some of the stuff he does and be a bigger homer than you are about his Patriots. Oh,
whoa. How am I a homer? No, I'm not a homer. Maybe he homer. Maybe he homer, but I don't know.
I said he's a bigger homer than you. Just chill out, man. You are the people here. Why are you bitching?
No, I don't know. That's what I do. I'm gonna buy that because we hear for the last. This is like the third year I've heard the Rams are coming. The Rams are coming. Oh, the Rams are coming, and then
they have a quarterback though. Who's been their quarterback?
Nick Foles, Sam Bradford.
Exactly. And Bradford, when he's on the damn field, let's remember that.
It's actually not that bad. I'll say it again.
He's not that bad outside of Chip Kelly's system. That's right. I said it. But them making it to 8-8 with three different quarterbacks as they did was impressive. Then, Bruce Arians had to turn around and do the same thing and make the playoffs. But I digress.
And 11-5.
Correct. But
by the way, most underrated coach in sports. To the record.
You think he's underrated? At this point,
in sports, not just NFL, in sports.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. Jeff Fisher, when he made it to the Super Bowl with the Titans, at least had Steve McNair, who was a great quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't had a fraction of that since. The next best guy he might have coached could be Sam Bradford or even freaking Kerry Collins or Matt Hasselbeck, okay?
Or maybe a 1 year Vince Young, maybe?
Vince Young, no.
1 year? No, I said 1 year Vince Young. 1 year Vince Young.
No. That's a bad EJ. No. Do not mention VY in this dojo.
You're not a VY fan, aren't you? You're not a VY fan, are you?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Remember
there's your answer there. There's your answer.
He's a complete fraud, man.
By the way, nice segue you just mentioned there, Chip Kelly, because my next buy or sell question is this, or topic is buy or sell. The Philadelphia Eagles should fire Chip Kelly at season end. Well, here we go with the firings now, man. I'm just throwing the gauntlets out.
Well, it's that time of year. It's all going to depend on if the Eagles pull a playoff performance out of their keister, which they will not. If I'm the ownership that's sick of listening to the fans gripe, I would say buy. If you're wanting to give this guy a shot and see him actually being able to revolutionize the NFL, I say sell. Unfortunately, I'm on the buy side of things. At first, Chip Kelly doing his thing with his quote-unquote gimmicky offense looked good because he was smart enough to find players to fit into it. There was a reason why Michael Vick had a chance to be successful in that offense as he was, for a time at least, because he was a mobile quarterback. You moved to Sam Bradford. You thought that was a good idea. You are an idiot.
Well, that makes me an idiot too, because I thought he remember me tooting the whole Sam Bradford, my dark horse MVP candidate in August. Remember that?
Then too.
Huh?
I thought you were nuts then too. What do you want me to tell you? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm gonna sell that just for one reason. He is also in control of the personnel.
True.
I say year 2 of full control. If they flop next year.
Although, if they're going to keep him, they need to do one thing. In his questionnaire of what he asks player candidates, can you find Oregon on a map? Should be closer to the bottom. That's all I'm saying.
And he's doing this in the week in NFC East too, by the way. So it was even more pathetic. Well, okay. All right.
You're the one who wants to keep him. I don't want to hear.
one more year. I mean, it helps Giants if he still stinks. I don't care.
I thought to get rid of Lovie Smith too, and I still think I'm right about that. But all right.
Okay. Next one. I got two more here. And sample's really small. Obviously, it's one game, but buy or sell. Brock Osweiler should remain the starter for the rest of the season.
I find it interesting that you name this game buy or sell because you just asked if I would put stock in Brock. But unfortunately, I haven't bought a guitar, so I am not ready to Brock and roll. Matter of fact, I don't think the Broncos are going to hit Brock bottom, but they're not going to be as good. And, well, let's just put it this way. If it comes whether or not you start Peyton Manning, you're stuck between a Brock and a hard place. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Creative. So you're selling on that, huh?
I really am, actually, yes. They don't really have another choice. They have to do it. Brock is going to see time for a couple years at least while they find their actual franchise future. That's just what it is.
Right. I'm going to buy that. And here's why. And I know the sample's small, but there are things done in that game in Chicago that not even Peyton could do anymore. Get the ball down the field with zip. Period. Yep. This the fact that it's not that Peyton Manning looks bad. Is that no? Forget the fact he's hurt. Even when he was healthy, I mean, there's a dramatic shift between what he was 2 years ago, throwing ducks 2 years ago when he was healthy, and now throwing ducks where he's not healthy and 2 years older.
Well,
the offense. I know there's only 17 points. Or was it 18 points they scored? Or 17 points they scored. 17. But the response to the offense to me looked a lot better. And look, I get the fact that we're panicking because what happened, just 2 games ago against Green Bay, Peyton looked decent. Yes, I get that. But there's something to be said about the way the offense has looked, responded, and guys like Thomas and when has responded with Brock. Do one game now, but they also have to know if this guy is their future too, because Peyton. Doesn't matter what Peyton said. The reports yesterday about Peyton might play next year.
No, he's not.
He's finished in Denver.
Yes.
He's done in Denver. So Denver, for their own sake, have to figure out, okay, is Brock Osweiler our guy moving forward? Forget the fact about Peyton Manning. You got to know your future.
Yeah. And I mean, I said it himself. I think Osweiler is going to play there for 1 or 2 years as a transition guy for life after Peyton Manning.
And if he's good, they'll keep him.
Why do they look for their franchise? Because I don't know that he's this guy.
We don't know yet.
I'll meet you in the middle. I think his ceiling is Matt Ryan-esque.
Okay, that's top 12 in the league, in my opinion.
Really? I haven't really broken that down. I just know that Russell Wilson isn't in there.
I hate you. I hate you right now. In this moment right now, I hate you, dude. Happy Thanksgiving, sir.
Happy Thanksgiving, mother.
Jesus.
See, now I get
that was good, though. Well, I mean, he's a lot of it. Well, look, we get that. That's another topic another day. That's another podcast. But I hate to say this right now, but right now, and the sample is small until he proves otherwise. Brock Osweiler gives them the best chance to win right now. He does.
Stock in Brock.
Well, we're going to see. Well, I'll tell you what.
Oh no!
Okay.
No, I didn't hear what you said because I think we had a. No,
I was saying that this week against New England is going to be a huge telltale for his career. Like if he wins this game and is the catalyst, the reason they win this game on prime time, that will go a long way for his career. And definitely, I think they stick it up with Brock at least a couple more weeks.
Well, here's where I'll meet you in the middle. I think Brock should start this game, but you're trying to tell me he's the future and will find the same success as Peyton Manning did? No.
Well, I mean, we're talking about Peyton Manning. Well, look, here's the problem. People getting offended about Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is not good anymore. What more do you need to see? When you're throwing more picks than completions, you're Matt Schaub.
Oh, no! And guess what? He's starting.
Yes. By the way, I advise you fellas, unless you are a diehard and don't have a life, or a diehard Ravens-Browns fan, make plans with your woman next Monday night.
What if she's a diehard Ravens fan?
Oh, well, then you're lucky. I'm saying you're lucky.
I hope she likes it angry if that's the case, because that's what you're going to get. We just lost to the Browns.
Next week's game, Browns-Ravens game, is what I will call a replace that with Netflix and chill.
Oh, I completely agree with you. Matter of fact, since it's a Monday night, and I know by the time I get done with the show, my lady will probably be sleeping. Might catch up on some Z's. Got to tell you, get right for the holiday.
Amen to that, brother. Last one, and that's actually a good segue because I don't know if you followed the story, but Johnny Manziel, there was some reports that came out, some video that came out about him clubbing last week on his bye week, which I don't think is a big deal personally because it's a bye week, whatever. As long as he's not in trouble with the law, I don't see a problem. The reason I'm sure every player in the NFL does this. The only reason that it's a big deal because it is Johnny Manziel. Right. There's actually a report that came out today that the Browns are considering benching him this week, and I assume it's because of what happened. But I think that's stupid. I think you got to be more forward thinking than that. But buy or sell. Johnny Manziel should lose his starting job due to this latest quote unquote controversy.
Well, Johnny Manziel went into rehab, right?
Right.
Did Johnny Manziel participate in libation at that club? If he did,
he had champagne in his hand. I don't know if he's drunk. No one confirmed that. He wasn't pulled over by police. He was never in trouble.
Rehab. It ain't about whether or not you got drunk. It's whether or not you're partaking. And I don't know what he's trying to actually, what his personal life goal is. So it's hard for me to really comment here.
Right.
But I can see why the Browns would at least turn an eyebrow to it. Do you bench him? No. That's the worst thing you do to
somebody. That's what I'm saying. Okay, fine. You're concerned, but he didn't get arrested. He's still, as far as I know, he's still made the practices. Believe me, if he was late to practice stuff, you know about this already. It'd be in the media.
Right.
So nothing has come out since then about him, any transgressions at all with the franchise. So I don't see why this is actually a big deal. I get the rehab thing, but I don't know why it's still a big deal.
That's why it's a big deal. But again, the move when someone's on rehab like that isn't to put more pressure on him by benching him. He hasn't been a disruption to the team other than, the fact that TMZ Sports is actually a bleeping thing. God, that makes
FS1 actually has the rights to that show now.
Yeah, I know. I gotta admit, between them having Colin Cowherd and that, I'm really torn on how to feel about them. I still feel better about them than I do ESPN, but
amen to that. I agree with you there.
By the way, Bill Simmons overrated. Anyways,
why do you do that? Why? Come on, man. Really?
Hey, I'm equal opportunity. If G were on the show with us still, I still would take shots at Jay Cutler. It's the same thing, okay? You should feel love. It's like William H. Bonney, Billy the Kid, never stole a horse from a man he didn't like. Same thing.
I love Bill Simmons, man. I don't know. I get some of the opinions a little bit out there, man. But I like what he does. I'm tired of defending the guy.
Anyway, he's out there. He's just in another galaxy, another universe. Okay, but yeah,
he's better than most. We'll give him that.
He's a basketball guy. I think that's why you're into him. I'll be honest.
Well, he's definitely a big basketball guy. He's definitely a basketball. Like he wrote a book on basketball, literally called The Book of Basketball.
I'm at the point not to buy it.
That's pretty good, though. I read the whole thing. I read the snippets of it. The little I saw was pretty good.
I looked at the pictures.
He ranked all the players of all time and stuff, and he has to update it now soon.
Then I need to avoid that because I'm going to start throwing things if I read that. I'm sure.
Give me a player. I'll tell you he hasn't ranked.
Oh boy, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Really high, actually. I think definitely top 10. He has him. I think it's like number 7 or 8 somewhere.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's refreshing.
And he's pretty. He has Magic number 4. I think Bird 5 or 6.
Whoa! You mean a white guy from Boston ranked Larry Bird really high? The hell you say?
Well, I mean he's a Bird fanatic. So
hey, but Bird, I'm just talking smack.
Anyway, first off, I want to thank you for I haven't a chance to do this really because we haven't had a podcast since before my trip. Thank you for hosting this podcast, actually, in my absence, with the man, Big TJ Johnson, of course.
Dude, that was a treat for me. I mean,
that was fun. And it's funny, like it was so cool. Like I actually want to start doing that more often, like just like on purpose, not doing shows. Say, hey, host my show for me, man. Or just having guest host once in a while, just to kind of express something.
Nervous about it too. Now you're like, F it, here, go ahead.
No, I wasn't nervous. Only because you were doing it. Because you were doing it. Like, there are really only 3 guys in the world I've actually given my show to 4 guys. There's 4, And the first time I did it was actually kind of what? Okay. But G, Twan,
right,
and you. And Bob Sullivan did my show way back, like in 2012, when I had like stuff to do with, ESPN radio down in West Palm Beach. So I couldn't do a show. But, he's, I thought you did great. And I thought the idea you had was, I thought bringing TJ too, especially bringing a fresh voice that had been on the show in a long time. I thought was really, really creative.
Dude, hey, look, I'll tell anybody out there, whenever you put me and Big TJ in a room, you just better expect a good time.
Yeah, we got it. I feel bad because I gotta get him on this podcast really soon. I told him this like in December, definitely. Yeah, because him and we had some great conversations, and it has nothing to do with sports. Like we talk about movies and TV.
Oh, dude,
and I think that's something we're gonna be diving heavy into probably next month or in January at least.
Like, he isn't even quote unquote an old guy per se, but man, he is a sage. I feel like if I were to do a movie and I needed a Jedi-esque character,
right?
Some old white dude with a beard down to his ankles. No, I'm getting Big TJ. Like, I don't know. It's like, this is probably outside your demographic, but like, they'll play Cats, which is complete trash.
Oh, don't tell my wife that, because we talked about that a couple days ago. She's like, one of my favorite places in the world. Cats.
Oh,
like,
there's
really?
some great performances. It's just nothing happens, but we're going to move on.
Yeah.
Definitely a Deuteronomy type. The big badass one. He might have some years on him compared to you, but dude is straight wisdom, and you better know your role, because if not, he will accuse you of drinking the Kool-Aid. He will put you at the kiddie table, and he will tell you that you are nothing but old hot dog water.
Hot dog water. It's been a while since I had hot dog water.
You'll have to ask Big TJ about hot dog water if you don't already know.
You already know what it is, right? I'm sure.
We'll break it down for you, and it will be entertaining. Actually, you should. We talked about it on the show.
We did?
Oh yeah, we broke it down. I asked him which was worse, being a dumpster fire or being hot dog water.
Oh yeah. Yes. Correct. You did talk about it. Yeah, right.
So
anyway, guys, find this show on YouTube. This is another YouTube show. We actually did another YouTube pairing. First time with Kyle though. Some new faces here. I like that. We're gonna try to do this more often with more podcasts. I think this Friday's show, I think I'm doing also later in the week. I think I'm doing another YouTube type thing.
Hey, shout out to my wife for making all this pretty behind me happen right here. You gotta love
the studio, right? That is the studio.
Damn right.
One time, I should get a tour one of these days, man, of that studio. I swear to God, one of these days, I'm taking off work Monday. I'm gonna come up there to do a podcast with you. Just to do the podcast.
I got a guest room up in this beast. Bring it.
Yeah, I'm only 2.5 hours away from you, man. So not like bum bleep Egypt. So anyway, Kyle, follow on Twitter at the SOTG, NGSports.com. Check out the Matchup Mania every week. We got a lot of stuff going on the website. Check out great content on the website, by the way, as of late, especially college football, NBA, the whole nine. We've got a lot of good stuff going on there. Check it out, definitely.
Todd Vandenberg, even some college basketball from my Andy Droots, man. He's legit too. I mean, and Sports Symposium.
Yeah, you got a new one, Symposium, a new one I saw.
Well, that's the newest one. We released that about a month or two ago, but we do have another one on the way coming. So
okay. It was like I saw a link came out this morning. I was like, is that brand new?
No, it's not brand new. It's the new one, but I mean, look, my partner that does that with me, Demosthenes Euclid with Hilarity by Default. He was like, why is it not up on the website? I'm like, that's a good question. Hey, Ralph, why isn't that on the website? I don't know. Let's put it up there. Boom.
By the way, and by the way, you just mentioned Ralph. We don't tell him enough on this podcast. Shout out to Ralph Garcia, the CEO of NGSports.com.
No doubt.
Hard worker. Getting things done.
Very
fellow Giants fan. Yeah, smart guy.
Had to take it.
Yeah, you know damn well. You know damn well. All right.